awesome.
All right. So Dr. Jim Storhok. Okay. So you have done all kinds of stuff here as becoming an author, uh, not just an author, a best-selling author, and then all of a sudden, boom, number one best-selling author. So what I wanted to do is just kind of get a little scope for what's happened, what has changed. This has become now this is a title that you have earned, and now it's with you for the rest of your life. So first of all, just tell me, what does that feel like?
It's awesome. I'm in a space of network marketing and affiliate marketing and online brand building. And I tell you what, the biggest thing that most people are lacking is attention, number one, and then the credibility behind that. I mean, you can scream loud, but in order to have that credibility behind you, it really is beneficial to have that authority effect. And it's so cool to be able to have number one best-selling author, because people like perk up and pay attention.
Wow.
It's neat when you have that in the professional realm. It's really cool kind of personally too. I know I went to a family reunion, hadn't seen a bunch of family members, and they see this stuff on social media and they're kind of like, what have you been doing? And then they see this book come out and they're like, it gets people's attention. So that's one of the coolest things that's happened to me so far. And we're just really, really kind of starting the journey of leveraging the number one best-selling status. But that's been really, really a cool feature of becoming an author.
Yeah, that was kind of the part that we really don't talk about. I mean, we never even covered. We didn't even go into that part of the water. We were just talking about, the two booster rocket ideas. You were already a rocket. You're already focused. You're already building your business. You're already, well developed as far as your plan, your business model, and so forth. And you, like you said, you do a number of different things. So you have your own personal practice. You do online marketing. You're a Facebook guru. Then you've done network marketing, and I think you do one other type of coaching environment as well. So I don't know how you have time for all those in the day. Plus, you're a great family guy. I'm constantly seeing you on social media with your wife and your kids. We were talking about that earlier. How do you fit all that in and everything? So tell me, what was some of the comments, because family can be some of the most critical people about what we do in business. So what were some of their comments what was the most unexpected compliment that came from that?
Yeah, the most unexpected compliment. And it's interesting you say about family, because family for me has been one of the biggest critics when it comes to the network marketing space. It's kind of like, oh, those things aren't real, et cetera, it's scammy and whatever. Right. And then as soon as they see that, you start to make it work. And then as soon as they say, boy, now you're starting to get more attention with what you're doing with this credibility as being an author, they really start to perk up. And it's like, now you're a genius, because you have, and again, I think it all comes back to this credibility piece of, man, this is legit, because being an author is very legitimate.
Yes, absolutely. So you used a term there, attention. And I think that was one of the things we talk about when you're a grinder versus the rainmaker. The grinders are the guys that have this incredible work ethic, and they just really bust in it. And, in our presentation, the key thing that when we put it together, we see that big boulder, almost a Sisyphean type of every day pushing that huge boulder. But at the end of the day, you don't really get paid well for it. You work hard, you're doing your blood, sweat, and tears, but your businesses aren't kicking off, and you don't know why, and you kind of feel this frustration and almost a level of anger, and you see clients, prospects going with competitors that don't offer the quality of the product or service that you're offering, and yet you see them and you're going, what did I do wrong? And it's just it hasn't clicked. And you can't hold their attention. You haven't captured it with the attention that distinguishes you from everyone else. It's the noise versus the signal. And what you're talking about is people now seeing you with that level of credibility. So credibility equates to trust. So now all of a sudden you're no longer noise. Now when you open your mouth to talk, everybody's going, whoa, I can listen. So now you're signal.
And the thing also, Steve, it's uniqueness as well. So I talk a lot about with network marketers who are trying to create a personal brand online. I always say people move products and services. Products and services don't move people. And so you want to create a unique mechanism. What's going to make your head stick out above the crowd and above the noise in a very, very busy marketplace? And as time goes on, the internet and, these things are becoming more and more crowded. Everyone wants to be the next Gary Vaynerchuk, or, you know what I mean? And it's like, but what gives you that level of credibility? And it still comes back to, I don't have the book right in front of me, man. It's like, that's what the book does, you know?
Right.
It's the book is that credibility piece, and it's unique because, and I don't know the statistic of it, how many people actually become an author versus a best-selling author versus a number one best-selling author. It's just layer upon layer upon layer of credibility, which is very leverageable.
Well, sure. And the thing is, it's like we talked about when you were first looking at this concept. Most people that even put on their bucket list or even on their business plan that I want to become an author, because everybody has in their mind, they kind of have an intuition that they know the credibility, because we talked about the guy at table 12, you know, the guy in 1,000, you know, convention center in a hall, everybody sitting around tables, and you walk in there and you find out guy down at number 12 is an author, and all of a sudden, boom, everything is a distinction between the other 998 people in there versus the one guy that's not like everybody else anymore. She's now separated, right? So boom, I want to go meet them. You go, why not go meet, you know, guy number 556 or guy number 225 or lady number 334? What's the difference? Oh, but this woman, she's an author. That's exactly what we're talking about. That level of intuitive value add that just all of a sudden is there, it has now had the distinction. You've actually experienced the authority effect. That's it.
I have. I do mentorship in 6 and 7 figure workshops where business owners are trying to take their businesses to the next level. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually being groomed right now for facilitator for these sorts of events, and being in that environment. And then once people in the, you know, the internet, they see, oh, Dr. Jim, man, he went and he got this book and now he's a best-selling author. It brings people around. It starts getting that almost like that flock effect, like you say. It's been pretty neat. You know, I wasn't expecting it. It's cool. But it's humbling at the same time, because, you know, with the attention comes a lot of responsibility, and you know, you get this ability to have you know, influence with people, and that's a big thing for me. I want to influence men to be better men and to be real strong family men, and this is giving me a platform in order to be noticed, and then have the credibility and be able to get that message out.
That's everything. So what would you say that, you know, when you're going through the process, so we're doing the, what I would call the review and approval process, as you're seeing different pieces of the creation, the production, what were your thoughts as you were going through that, seeing it all slowly come together?
Yeah, well, number one, I was extremely grateful for you and your team, because, you know, my joke when I'm doing Facebook Lives is I'm the non-tech physical therapist, right? It's like a doctor of physical therapy, an online tech marketer. It's just not really that congruent normally, right? Right. And so I was very happy that you guys were taking care of all of that stuff in the background, and very efficiently, may I add, and very professionally, because number one, I don't want to do it. I'm not that great at doing it. But seeing the pieces of the puzzle coming together in such a rapid succession, in a logical order, was like, wow, this is cool. I'm really working with a group of professionals. Good. And it was very, yeah, you're welcome. No, thank you. It was very awesome to see the process come together so rapidly. I mean, come on, it wasn't that long. How long was it? It was very, very quick. 90 days less?
Something like that. Yeah. I was going to say, in my mind is I got so much going on. It's like when all the authors were putting them all together in a book, I get lost in the fog. Okay. People talk about the fog of war or whatever, the fog of publishing. Yeah. And it feels like, because each one of you are on different timelines. You know, everybody has a certain level. I mean, because you have your own day practice where you're a physical therapist, right? Then you also have your family. Then you have your other businesses that you do in these other you're very organized. When I've talked to you, we set up schedules. So you have all these things all pocketed out. And so your response time was very quick. As far as, you know, here's the next piece, we need you to look at it, approve it, make edits or whatever. So we have to go back and forth so that we're delivering our end product that you have approved every step of the way. Other people didn't have the quick turnaround, business or travel or whatever. But here's the thing that I think a lot of people, not only do they think it is near unbelievable that becoming an author gives you this level of authority, but then when we tell them that we do everything, but we first need you to write the chapter and give us your information, and we tell them 3 hours worth of work. So tell me, is 3 hours, is that what it took you to put together your chapter, or was it something more or less?
You know what? 3 hours is it's a realistic time frame. I don't believe that it took me 3 hours, just because I had a good vision of what I wanted to express to begin with. Even from the initial interview with you, I had a really good idea of, I mean, I know my story ultimately. and
Sure.
I know the impact and the intent that I wanted to bring forth through the chapter in the book. So
Mhm.
for me, I don't feel like personally it took me 3 hours. It was probably less than that, although I
Okay.
feel that 3 hours is probably a realistic time frame for someone to try to unearth some of that stuff if they don't have it completely concrete and set forth in their mind.
Sure. Okay. So that was all in place. Have you seen any particular response because of the press release branding that we put you out on the 1,000 different outlets? We took your press release to. We sent you actually the links to show you proof. I think actually I caught one of the first ones because I was actually watching as different folks are launching their book at different times. So I was actually Googling you, and boom, all of a sudden I saw you pop up. I think it was Newswire. And so I sent you that link that day. And of
You
course,
did, yeah, you did, yeah.
and I think I actually did a screenshot of it and go, boom, look, you're out there. You're actually online. Here you are. You're actually global now. So when you see all the links that we actually send to your Google folder, so we show you all that, what did that do when you actually look at that and you go, wow, look at all the places.
Well, I'm kind of glad you sent that to me because I'm like, really? Like, is it really going out to, and that's just, I don't know. We live in a skeptical world sometimes. I'm like, is
Absolutely.
this really going to be it? And then thank you for you doing that, sending it over to that. I mean, it's really, really neat to be able to have that. Again, it comes back to the credibility piece. I
Yep.
remember pulling up that branded website at my clinic because
Hmm.
patients were asking, and because again, it's different. Like, well, did this book have to do with physical therapy? Like, no.
Right.
And well, what is it about? And we kind of get into a little bit of the story and whatnot, and
Right.
just the uniqueness of, again, well, what's my physical therapist launching this book, and now it went bestseller, now it went #1 bestseller, and then I show them this website, and they're like blown away. You're kidding me? It's on these sorts of things. I want to get a link to that. I want to get the chapters. You know what I mean? So
Right.
just that, again, it breeds that credibility and that authority effect is very, very effective.
And because when I started in sales 30 years ago, I remember the first thing I learned was sales is a transfer of enthusiasm. And I think that's one of the things that you see. Obviously, I can hear it in your voice, but when you're talking about your clients and how they responded, and like you said, that was in your physical therapy practice, not specific in having to do with your Facebook marketing, your network marketing businesses, or any other consulting. And so it was totally non-connected to your industry, but they were so excited. Oh my gosh, you're a published author. Well, you're a doctor as well. I mean,
Mhm.
so it's incredible to me to see that still held a different level of authority because, like I said, you already have that credential that a lot of people don't have. But now you're also an author, and of course, we've continued to upgrade each one of those additional achievements that you had. So,
Right.
I mean, I could just see, obviously, your face says everything there. That you actually achieved that and see that from your clients. So,
And it's been a really neat impact. I just want to mention this real quick because
sure,
it was cool. Like, it kind of made me blush a little bit, but I had an 18-year-old patient, really, really cool kid, just very enthusiastic. And he's at this point in his life where he's just beginning. And I want to
right,
affect men, right? I want
mhm,
to help just make better men in this world, to lead and their homes and their communities.
sure,
And this young guy, we were talking about this, and I'm like, man, getting into books and getting the wisdom of people who went before you is such a valuable thing. And so
right.
we were talking about the book, and anyway, so he went on, unbeknownst to me, got the book, got it back. He brought it in, and he was my first autographed copy of the book. That was really cool. You know what I mean? He came
Yeah.
in, he brought the book. It was his discharge day, and we did like a testimonial video for the clinic because he did so well. And then he had this book, and we did the signing for him. And so that for me, I mean, that's everything.
What
That's
did it
so
feel
cool.
like?
It gives me goosebumps
Right.
because it's the fact that I know that I can impact lives through
Hmm.
a message and
Hmm.
getting that message out on a bigger scale. I mean, we live in the information age, and being able to leverage things online. I know I'm just scratching the surface. I mean, this whole #1 bestselling author thing just recently happened. So we're like literally at the beginning of the beginning of the
Sure.
beginning. Can't wait to have another conversation with you down the road in a few months or a year
That's
and
exactly what I
break
was
some
going to
stuff
say.
down.
We
So
definitely want to do this ongoing to see because right now you're coming off the launch pad, so all the boosters are lit up. You can feel the force. You got the what we call the what is that thing? You have to break gravity, and it's a thing called the escape velocity. So
mhm.
your engines are all fired up. They're going. So we want to come back and re-interview you at different stages to see how it feels as you're gaining more altitude. But I wanted to do one more thing here because I know you're busy and you've got other things to get to. But I wanted to ask your permission while we're doing this little interview. We love not just who you are, what you're about. We loved your actual chapter, and we'd like to do something special. And so there is a new book coming out called Beyond Success, and we'd like to have your permission to include your chapter in the next book and to give you broader distribution throughout the world.
I'd be honored, man. That's awesome. Twist my arm. You know what I mean? Jeez, twist my arm.
Well, I just wanted to make sure it was okay. But, you know, what we're
Yeah.
going to do is same chapter content. We're going to put you in the new book, and we'll have your
Okay.
bio in there, which will have your contact information and all that. So an entirely different group, new audience than, you know, what you're going to right now. We're going to keep pushing you forward, and we always like to give those unexpected value. But, you know, you could have said, hey, no, I don't want that. I'm cool with all the publicity.
Too much exposure. Too much exposure.
Too much stuff.
Stop
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
No, I hate the
Right.
attention. It's the worst.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm glad that we can do that. And I mean, the whole process, I've enjoyed just getting a chance to know you. And, you know, we become Facebook friends and all that kind of stuff too. So we get a chance to see what's going on. But this has just been really a cool thing. I really, myself, I like the way that our creatives actually were able to take some really great photos that you did and how they postured those. And I love the one I love the most is the one on the stairs. That to me, and the other one, well, you have the other one that has the clock that says no time. But both of those were just, to me, really well done, well thought out from your standpoint, but then to hand those to our creatives and our media team and say, okay, guys, do something here that's got a wow factor. So even when I was bringing up, you know, Your Authority website, and I see, you know, you at the top of the stairs, that had such a significant, had a visceral feel to it. And then we actually, you know, we framed a quote from you there as well. I was blown away. You know, that's me, and I see these things every day. It looked cool. It looked real cool.
Yeah, the idea behind the stairs, we were just trying to capture. Sometimes you have to go against the grain, and so if you kind of looked at the picture as a whole, there's a whole bunch of people going down, and there's just one guy going up. And sometimes you've got to be willing to step out of line. In fact, if the herd is going this way, you better darn well be going the other way, you know, because the herd's going to get slaughtered. And and you know, people need to step out and lead. And that's what that picture was trying to capture. So I appreciate the compliment. The other one was neat because my big thing is helping men get their time back. And I know you just ramble off all these things that I'm busy with, right?
Sure.
But I'm doing it intentionally in order to gain more time back to always do things. And it's in the chapter. I want to be able to do things for impact because I want to, not because I have to.
Right.
I don't want to have to ever do anything.
Right.
And that clock says now on it. Because you can wish it. You could say, you know what, one day I want to get the impact. One day I want to get the authority effect. One day I want to get the credibility. But you know what? The time is now. We're not promised tomorrow. So get after it today.
Perfect. Well said. Well, I thank you again for giving me time. I know I said it was going to take 5 minutes, but you just had so much good stuff here. I'm happy that that this has all worked out so well. So we'll be back to talk to you in a couple months, and we'll add that in and see where you're at and how you've continued to use the tools. And I think with your level of creativity, we haven't completely figured out everything that can be done that has been done. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to find new ways, I know, because you have a unique way of thinking about social media and being able to incorporate all these things now that you have put together. So I'm anxious to come back and see where you're at a little further down the trajectory headed toward orbit. So
absolutely looking forward to it. And I appreciate you and all the time and all the effort that the team at Success Publishing has done to help me achieve what I've achieved so far. And I look forward to the future for sure.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. You as well.